All right, so we had this baby tarped up for the last couple of days. Haven't really had a chance to work on it too much. But right now, it's time to paint it. We are going to get the first layer of paint. We'll see how that looks, and we'll see how many more layers we got to go after that. I absolutely hate painting. I suck at painting. Painting sucks in general. But it's going to hopefully make this thing look like go from being a crusty-looking turd with all the body marks and blemishes that I've left on it by making sure it is water-sealed into possibly a nice looking camper rig. I don't really know yet. So I'm gonna set up a time lapse and we'll get this going. All right, so I'm having some bad luck with some freaking paint. I don't know what happened to that paint. I just went to go open it up, shook it up, and it was like literally like a paste and solid on the inside. So I'm not sure what happened to it. I might like left it out, baking in the sun for too long. I've never had that happen before, ever, even when I've left paint out in the sun. So I don't know, maybe it's just a bad batch. We're gonna have to take the L on that one, and I'm on my way to Home Depot right now to go pick up some more paint. I still want to try to use a tan color. They have an oops paint section sometimes where people like order a color that they're not into and they try it out and it's just not right. They can return it and exchange it for, you know, a credit on another paint. So I always check that section to see what kind of colors we can get. But if they don't have anything like that, then we'll have to get them to make some in the color that I possibly want. Okay, so now that we got the main paint done, that's all on there. It looks pretty cool, that color, man. I was originally gonna do the tan, but then I saw this and it matches my truck a little bit better. I have another can of tan just in case I wanna end up putting that on there. It'd probably be good to do a whole nother coat on top of this too, so it's like super, super thick. The plastic bubbles a little bit. You can definitely tell it's super DIY, but in the next couple of days, I'm going to see if it leaks. Honestly, I'm so far into this right now that there's no undoing what I just did and fixing it. It's just gonna have to be scrapped if it leaks, or have to figure out a way to put more Flex Seal than I already have on this thing. But I'm gonna let it sit out in a couple rains, maybe even spray with the hose once the paint's completely dry, and we'll see if it leaks at all or not at all. If it's like a teeny little leak and something we can fix, then I'll fix that. If it's leaking all over, well, then I'm just gonna have to take the L on this one. It's a learning experience, but I have confidence it's not gonna leak, but I don't wanna guarantee that it's not gonna leak because I don't wanna put that, you know, I don't wanna put that negative mojo in the air. So we will find out in a couple of days if it's gonna be a thumbs up or a thumbs down. I'm getting rid of the whole thing and I'm coming up with a different idea. I think if I had to guess, I would be in the hole on this thing probably around $500 or so. But the fun of building it was well worth that anyways if it does indeed fail, so it's not too big of a deal. And you know, it's a learning experience. People blow $500 on a lot stupider shit than this. So while we wait for it to dry, might as well ride a little bit. I haven't actually ridden the ramp in a while. I haven't really ridden a lot of ramps in a while. I've been mainly just riding the dirt jumps lately. I've been going through some knee problems that started well before Swamp Fest, and like just nothing was making it get better at all. So I decided to maybe like take a couple weeks after Swamp Fest to chill out and see if it helps my knee out. To be really honest with you, it really didn't do much for my knee. I got this weird thing. I mean, actually, you guys probably remember the UCF video me and Marcel went on. I was bitching and complaining about my knee back then, and I have no idea what it is, but it's like right underneath my kneecap. It's like a weird blunt pain all the time, and I could ride for about 15 minutes, and then it's like just super, super annoying. It's really, really bad when I do manuals. last one before I gotta go meet with Dave in a little bit. I haven't done this one in probably, I don't know, a month. I've been really not doing this one on purpose because of my knee, but whip air, give it a shot. I never really liked whip airs. Like even when I would like do like whips into things or off of things is more of my what I like. Almost like a bunny hop whip pretty much. But I don't like bunny hop whips as much as I like to like whip off of even just like a curb. But like a whip air is like never felt good. Since the time I learned them, I was never really like a whip air guy. I'd rather like, I don't know, whip. I would rather do a double tire ride on like a foot or 2 foot tall rail at like Candyland or something like that to whip off than a whip air. That's why like I'll film those clips all day before I ever try filming this. But there's nowhere for me to really do like a whip. I can do a whip drop in the corp, but I really don't feel like doing that though. Felt great. Oh, shit, man. I gotta go meet up with Dave, but I'm gonna get myself a Diet Coke. That was sick. Actually felt good. Maybe a whip air summer thing. All right, Dex, we're done riding for a little bit. We gotta go meet up with Dave. We'll pick back up on that thing tomorrow, hopefully. Make sure everything's last minute sealed. I hate this, but that's just the plastic. A lot of campers actually look that. I probably should have put some like crazy glue on there first and then put it on there, and that would have stopped that, but it's not gonna go anywhere. It's screwed down all the way around in all the corners, so it just looks silly. But damn, I'm pretty impressed so far, man. It's actually coming together. It's just the Trace first. It's the plastic. That's like you can't. I should have glued it, but it's like screwed all around the side. I told you, be really honest. You can tear it apart. I don't give a shit.
I mean, you tell me. Is this okay? Is that good?
I mean, I don't know. I don't think that will be the issue.
I mean, you have screw holes. Like, you don't think water's gonna go in there?
No. Those will get Alex. Like they'll get this stuff called
They'll get
Alex
what?
Flex. Alex Flex.
Alex.
That's what it's actually called. That's like Bondo type shit.
Dude, yeah, it looks awesome. Yeah, it looks dope.
You can be honest. You think it ain't gonna work? Tell me. I don't give a shit.
What about? Yeah.
Now stand over here so you can see on.
Big as shit. What about all these nail holes? What are those?
Those will be screwed in, but they're all epoxied on top. And then there's
What are they?
self tappers with the little rubber things on them, like the things we use for the roof to hold the shit on top of the roof. I have plastic on top of the roof too. I have like a layer of APOC and then the plastic and then this.
Why don't you just pour water on it?
See what happens? Well, I was gonna wait for it to rain, but I guess you're right. Are you inside of it?
Yeah.
Is it wet?
No.
Hold on, keep going with it. I wonder what the other side will have some.
Yeah, no, keep spraying water. Yeah, you got a leak right here.
No way.
Yeah, right here, look. There was water just pouring in right
God damn it, man. This thing, I'm over it. I put so much sealer on top of that thing, dude.
Yeah.
No.
Keep here, I'll keep spraying water on it. You tell me.
Definitely coming through right there. Are you spraying on that middle spot?
I'm literally just put water hose on the roof.
One drive, do you think it's gonna be leaking like crazy? Because that's the thing. It's like it's not.
I think if you were like wanted to store bikes and surfboards and shit in the back of it, and you like didn't want them to get wet, yeah, I think it'd be fine. But I think if you're gonna like put bedding and shit in there and like wanting it to like be like a little like room, this is what I would do. I shouldn't even tell you, but I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you. I would get some pieces of metal roofing. And I would do pieces from. I would do I would do a piece from this corner, and I would overhang it like an inch off the front, and I would overhang it an inch on the outside, and I would have it run all the way down, all the way over your little, this thing looks like it's gonna fall off. But I would run it all the way out to where it comes like off the end, and have it overhang like about this much, and do that across this entire roof. And then on the front, so it would come like this. I would run that same metal roofing up under this, so when the water comes off the front, it pours off this way, and then it pours off that way. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
and I would overhang, like I said, I would overhang it like this much, so you don't have water on the. This is ridiculous, dude. You got this.
It sucks to say it, but it's too late for that. You can't get that to stick down now.
Why didn't you just use plywood?
I did do. It's plywood underneath it. But I knew that the plywood, if the plywood gets wet,
I guarantee you that plywood is wet under there.
it can't. It's plastic. They can't get through that.
I'm saying you have screw holes. You have shit. Look at this.
There's so much flex seal underneath there, though. Yeah, I guess you're right.
Look at that. I can stick my entire finger in there.
Yeah, but there's the plastic there. That's what I'm saying. I just did extra there.
Oh, all right, cool.
No, you're definitely right.
I would leave this shit on here. I would leave.
All right, so I know it's super dark right now, and you guys can probably not see very well, but I got my little flashlight out. I've let this thing up for a couple days now, and it doesn't seem to be leaking anywhere else other than that one spot. But I'm kind of torn. I don't know what to really do right now. Because I know I could probably fix this by putting the sheet metal on top, but I'm worried about, even with self-tappers and many, many screws, putting sheet metal and having it overhang like Trey said. If I have it overhang a little bit, I'm slightly worried that it could potentially get caught by the wind and just yank it up, because it would be pretty much like creating hurricane winds almost every single time you drive it. Because if you're going down the road at 75 miles an hour, 80 miles an hour, that's gonna be a lot of like force on it that could potentially give lift. And the last thing I'd want to ever do is have a freaking piece of sheet metal fly off the top of my roof while I'm going 80 miles an hour down the highway onto some place and potentially harm somebody else. So I have to really figure out and be smart about this, what I'm going to do. So I'm doing some research on some couple different options. I just really don't understand what else to do, because I did above and beyond what anyone else does when I watch them do these builds. I put the APOC stuff on there. I put a layer of plastic on top of that. I did a layer of paint on top of that. I must have messed up somewhere along the lines, but there's only that one spot that leaks. So I'm hoping if I just patch that one leak spot, that'll be good and all the other spots won't leak. But my worry is that the more and more that I drive it, the more and more things will flex and things will kind of get worn in and then potentially leak more and more over time. And it would just be ruined while I was on a trip. So I don't really know. Kind of got to go back to the drawing board. I'm not really too sure how I'm going to handle this. There's potential I could just make this thing a giant Be Weird bonfire out of Weird World. Who knows? We could turn it into an obstacle. But obviously that's not what I want to do. I worked really hard to get to this point. I mean, I learned a lot. I definitely learned that APOC sucks, and it's not exactly the easiest thing to make a wooden structure that you're going to put in the back of your truck waterproof. But I mean, there's definitely a way to save it. I just have to figure out what's the smartest and safest way to save it. And then also have to decide if it's even worth saving, or whether maybe there's a whole nother solution in general. So I don't know. Got to go back to the drawing board. But no matter what, I will figure out something to put on the back of my truck that will make it a great road trip vehicle for when I decide to go up to PA this summer. All right, on that note, I'm out.